Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're focusing on how to get things done. We've all been there. Those days when focusing feels impossible. You're staring at your to-do list, but all you can think about is scrolling through social media or grabbing another snack. Trust me, you are not alone. The good news is staying focused is a skill anyone can develop, and we're excited to share some of our favorite productivity hacks to help level up your focus game. Let's talk about our first hack, creating motivation, that magical force that propels us forward. Sometimes it feels like motivation is abundant and we're unstoppable. Other times it's nowhere to be found. The good news is we don't have to wait for motivation to strike. We can actually create it. And it all starts with asking yourself two powerful questions. Why am I doing this? And what do I like about this task? Think about a time when you were incredibly focused and productive. What was it about that particular project or task that lit you up? Was it the challenge, the creativity it required, or the impact it had on others? When we connect with our why, the deeper purpose behind our actions, we tap into a wellspring of intrinsic motivation. So the next time you're struggling to get started on a task, take a few moments to reflect on your why. Remind yourself of the positive impact your work will have, the skills you'll develop, or the joy it brings you. Sometimes all it takes is a little reminder of our purpose to reignite that fire within. And here's another secret weapon. Focus on the enjoyable aspects of your work. Even tasks we might not initially love usually have some redeeming quality. Maybe it's the satisfaction of crossing something off your to-do list, the opportunity to learn something new, or the sense of accomplishment you feel upon completion. When we shift our perspective to focus on the positive, we create a more enjoyable and engaging experience for ourselves. Remember, our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. By highlighting the enjoyable elements of our work, we make it more likely that we'll stick with it, even when faced with challenges. Let's talk about our second hack, the power of mini challenges. Have you ever noticed how much easier it is to tackle a big project when you break it down into smaller, more manageable chunks? The same principle applies to staying focused. Instead of getting overwhelmed by the sheer size of a task, set yourself mini goals. Ask yourself, how much can I accomplish in the next 30 minutes? And then accept the challenge. Maybe it's writing one paragraph, designing one slide, or responding to 5 emails. By timing your work session, you create a sense of urgency and momentum that challenges you to power through any distractions. Think about it this way. Imagine you're running a marathon. If you focused solely on the finish line 26.2 miles away, you might feel overwhelmed and discouraged before you even begin. But if you break down the race into smaller segments, maybe focusing on reaching the next mile marker or water station, the task feels much more attainable. The same goes for our work. When we set mini goals or challenges, we're essentially creating mental checkpoints along the way. Each time we reach one of these milestones, we experience a sense of accomplishment that fuels our motivation to keep going. Plus, mini challenges help us stay present and engaged in the task at hand. Instead of letting our minds wander to everything else on our to-do list, we can laser in on the immediate goal, knowing that we'll have time to address other tasks later. So, the next time you're feeling overwhelmed or unfocused, try setting a timer for 30 minutes and challenge yourself to make as much progress as possible on a specific task. You might be surprised by how much you can accomplish when you break down your work into bite-sized pieces. Hack number 3, the magic of habits. One of the most effective ways to boost productivity is to establish a consistent routine. Think about it. When we perform certain actions at the same time each day, they become automatic. We no longer have to waste precious mental energy trying to decide when or how to do them. Our bodies and minds simply know what to expect. This is the power of habit. When it comes to productivity, establishing a regular work schedule can be a game changer. Choose a specific time each day to dedicate to your most important tasks, and stick to it as closely as possible. Maybe you're most alert and focused first thing in the morning, or perhaps you prefer to tackle your most challenging work in the quiet of the evening. Experiment with different times of day to find what works best for you. The key is to be consistent. When you train your brain to expect focused work during specific hours, it becomes easier to slip into that productive mindset. Over time, you'll find that procrastination and distractions have less power over you because you've built a solid foundation of routine. Think about it like this. Imagine you're trying to train for a marathon. If you only run when you feel like it, you'll likely struggle to make progress. But if you commit to running at the same time each day, rain or shine, you'll build consistency and endurance over time. The same principle applies to our work habits. By showing up consistently, even when we don't feel like it, we strengthen our productivity muscles and make it easier to stay focused in the long run. Hack number 4, the 5-minute secret weapon. Let's talk about one of my all-time favorite productivity hacks, the 5-minute rule. This simple yet effective technique is all about overcoming procrastination by tricking your brain into getting started. We all have those tasks that we dread, cleaning the bathroom, organizing our desks, or finally starting that writing project. These tasks can feel so daunting that we avoid them altogether, leading to a cycle of procrastination and guilt. The 5-minute rule offers a brilliant solution. Instead of focusing on the entirety of the task, commit to working on it for just 5 minutes. Set a timer and tell yourself that you can stop after 5 minutes if you really want to. The beauty of this technique is that it lowers the barrier to entry. Suddenly, that overwhelming task feels much more manageable when we only have to commit to 5 minutes. And what often happens is that once we get started, we find ourselves more engaged and willing to continue working. Think about it. Have you ever put off going for a run, only to find that once you lace up your shoes and get out the door, you actually enjoy it? The same principle applies to our work. Often, the hardest part is simply getting started. The 5-minute rule helps us overcome that initial resistance by breaking down tasks into smaller, less intimidating chunks. And once we're in motion, we often find that momentum carries us forward. So the next time you're struggling to start a task, remember the 5-minute rule. Set a timer, commit to just 5 minutes, and see what happens. You might be surprised by how much you can accomplish once you get the ball rolling. Hack number 5, just do it. Let's talk about the importance of cultivating discipline over motivation. We often wait for motivation to strike before taking action. But the truth is, motivation often follows action. When we wait for the perfect time or for a surge of inspiration, we can find ourselves stuck in a cycle of procrastination. The key to breaking free from this cycle is to cultivate discipline. Discipline is about doing what needs to be done, even when we don't feel like it. It's about showing up consistently, even when it's hard. Think about it this way. Imagine you're training for a marathon. Are you always going to feel motivated to lace up your shoes and hit the pavement? Probably not. There will be days when you're tired, sore, or simply don't feel like it. But if you rely solely on motivation, you'll never reach your goal. Discipline is what gets you out the door, even when motivation wanes. It's about making a commitment to yourself and sticking to it no matter what. The same principle applies to our work. There will be days when we're not feeling particularly inspired or motivated. But by cultivating discipline, we can power through those slumps and continue making progress towards our goals. So, how do we cultivate discipline? It starts with setting clear goals and creating a plan to achieve them. Break down your goals into smaller, more manageable steps and hold yourself accountable. Find an accountability partner, track your progress, or reward yourself for milestones reached. And remember, discipline is like a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it becomes. So the next time you're struggling to get started on a task, remember the power of discipline. Push through the resistance, take action, and watch as momentum builds. You've got this! Okay, so let's recap what we've learned. Staying focused is a skill that takes repetition and practice, but there are tricks we can use along the ways to propel us forward. The first of these hacks relies on motivation. Reminding yourself why you're doing the task or what you enjoy about it increases the likelihood that you will work on the task. Next is the challenge hack, where you set a 30-minute time limit to see how much you can accomplish. Then there's the habit hack, where you repeatedly perform the task or job at the same time, thus creating a habit. The 5-minute hack encourages you to do what you can for 5 minutes. This short amount of time is very easy to accept and removes any feelings of overwhelm. And finally, there's straight-up discipline, because getting something done will motivate you like nothing else will. Remember, be kind to yourself, celebrate your wins, and keep experimenting to find what works best for you. And here are a few bonus tips to supercharge your productivity. Try going for a brisk walk to clear your mind. Change up your workspace to spark creativity. And be sure to eliminate distractions like social media notifications by putting your devices in another room. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips. And as always, be fearless, be still, and know